You ever notice how people drive around with a garage full of junk while complaining they're broke? If you don't have any friends that do that, it might be you. How about that rusty grill? Maybe you got a pile of copper wire or a random chunk of metal that's been sitting behind the shed since the Clinton administration. Yeah, all of that is money. And that's where Premier Metal Recycling comes in. These guys know value, like real value, not internet math, actual cash value. Whether it's scrap steel, copper, brass, aluminum, Premier Metal will tell you what it's worth and put money in your hand. Honestly, it's one of the few places left where cleaning out your garage can actually pay off. They have 2 convenient locations, 909 West Linden Avenue in East Rochester and 11 Carnes Street in downtown Rochester. You can also check daily pricing and exactly what materials they're buying at premiermetalgroup.com. Or, if you're feeling friendly, give them a call directly at 585-436-4020. Premier Metal Recycling, because your junk pile might actually be your emergency fund.
The only podcast where the host needs a therapist.
I think that I have very low self-esteem.
And wants to be one.
You're avoiding everything.
From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, New York, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. I'm excited because I haven't seen this guy in a while.
It's good to be here,
Mark Ippolito from Comedy at the Carlson. Got a lot of stuff happening over there,
bro. A lot of stuff.
Like, I'm being very serious when I see that you guys are doing a comedy festival.
Yes,
I am really impressed when I did a little. Light research online. I'm like, they're doing it the right way because you have different venues, different spots around the city with different types of comedy.
Yes.
And I don't know, did you ever come to the Montreal Comedy Fest with us when it was in existence?
I did not, but I know all the stories. I did go there, but I didn't go with you guys.
Okay.
But I remember all the JJ stories.
Oh, well, the JJ stories were phenomenal.
Yeah,
like, we're going to go to Old Canada. He goes, hey, Billy, what is this guy speaking? Spanish? It's like you're in Quebec. Just crazy shit. But the way they do it was you had like the confession show, and that was at one venue, and these guys would get up and I just remember Louis C.K. telling a story that you really can't say anywhere about his favorite word, and then Jim Norton talking about banging a transvestite behind a dumpster late at night.
Yeah.
Those are the confession shows. But it was just different styles of comedy, right? Different types at different venues. And I go, oh my God, this is amazing that you guys are doing this. And it really looks like it has the potential to explode.
Well, we're trying. And I mean, so the original idea came about 3 years ago. Suresh, I said, hey, why don't we try doing a festival? And clubs usually don't do that.
Right.
Clubs usually are just part of things.
Yes.
Normally it's, an outside thing coming in. And Rochester is pretty much known as like the festival city.
That's a good point.
In the summertime, we have a million things. And even though we have like major festivals like the Fringe and all these other festivals, they don't just focus on comedy. Okay,
right.
Like the Fringe, you get like a Circus du Soleil.
Yeah.
You get maybe some poetry and some other, off the cuff kind of alt things. But this is just straight comedy. It's but you said it genrefies into different comedies.
Yeah.
And then we're using multiple venues. We have Photo City, The Vault, Radio Social, and Artisan Works. Artisan Works has 3 rooms themselves.
Yeah.
And then we
Such a cool space.
It is.
Such a cool space and great for that stuff, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely fits in perfect. And when we were doing the tour of which rooms we were going to be, I look up and there's like 5 Andy Warhols. And I'm like, are those going to be there, above the stage when this happens? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, that is so cool.
It is.
That these people are going to be watching comedy and there's these the soup cans are right above the stage where these people are going to perform.
You know who was really good friends with him?
Who?
Armand.
Oh my God, I
Armand
love
Shawback.
He's the man.
Yeah, Armin, they were tight. Andy produced some shitty album that he recorded.
Really?
Yeah, and some movie that he was working on.
I could see that, though.
Oh,
I could
they
see
were
them-
like really good friends.
I could see them sipping on some tea that
Yeah.
might have a little yabba dabba do in
Oh,
it, and then
definitely.
just tripping out because,
Yeah.
dude, Armin's great, man. I hook up with the House of Guitars if anybody's wondering who Armin is. He's co-founder with his brother, the House of Guitars. I hook up with those guys all the time for equipment. Those guys are phenomenal.
They are phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a staple in Rochester, but that's the thing. It's, Rochester, New York is Festival City. We do all these things. Nobody's ever done this before, so we're trying to do it, but we're doing it for a really good reason. And another cool thing about Rochester is we have what's known as the Rochester Cancer Alliance, and that's a bunch of the 5 main cancer organizations here, or people that are fighting cancer organizations here in Rochester. We have the Gildas Club, American Cancer Camp Hope. We have Camp Good Days, 1330, and Cure. Now, all 5 of these organizations are now under one umbrella.
Oh, they are?
Yes, it's called the Greater Rochester Cancer Alliance. And so now, it's because it's kind of tough. Like, say you're young and you're 16, you've been diagnosed with cancer, you're on your parents' insurance. All of a sudden you turn 18, you have all these bills, and now they want you off your parents' insurance or something like that. There's a lot of situations that happen where people can't find providers, or providers are not just giving the right information to people. So now all 5 organizations, if you're having a hard time finding maybe a doctor or somebody that can help you with this or help with a provider, you can go to any of those organizations and they're going to steer you in the right direction.
Wow.
And that's amazing because there's no other city that's doing this.
That's a really, really cool.
It's epic.
Yeah, it is. Do you know who was kind of, not to get off topic, but just to, who spearheaded that?
So Lauren Spiker, who's the founder of 1330,
Okay.
I'm very close with. Obviously, I lost my nephew 3 years ago at 17 to Ewing sarcoma. I got very involved with 1330 because, they're on the adult youth end of things. So they're kind of on the cusp of all right, if you're 13, you can come on in here. Or if you're 24, because those are the weird ages. That's that weird age group to when if you're diagnosed with something like that they kind of help navigate it and, help you out through treatment, give you things to do, people that are in the same situation with you and counseling and help. Well, Lauren Spiker, kind of got together with all of these groups, and she kind of spearheaded the whole thing. My wife's now on the board of Cure. Okay. So it's just epic that all these things are coming together. So it's no secret that I don't think anybody has not been touched by somebody or somebody in their family or friend.
No.
So it's just really cool that Rochester had this cool thing happen.
Yeah.
And Lauren kind of got everyone together to say, let's not compete. I wouldn't say compete.
You're not, but it is. It's if I'm giving my dollars to cancer and I'm giving it to Cure and not Gildas Club or whatever it is.
Right.
That's my dollars for cancer. That helps them, but there may be people that are touched by cancer that can't utilize Cure.
Right.
So now if I give it to the collective, it probably gets distributed evenly in some fashion. And the great thing about that too, Mark, that I think is so important is it stays local.
Right.
This is a local, not a national.
That's
a really important piece. I think that needs to be highlighted for people because, we live here.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you can't care about somebody somewhere else.
Right.
But we live here, and let's take care of our community and our people. And I also think these organizations, from what I understand, there are some of them that will help people who are older and maybe aren't working.
Right.
How do you meet your obligations? How do I get food on my table? Get my laundry done.
Exactly.
There's all kinds of things, like to even just be a volunteer if you have the time.
Right.
Boy, it would be so appreciated.
You hit the nail right on the head because now you can go to any one of those and they're
Right.
going to find help, or they're going to set you in the direction where you can get help.
Yeah.
So to kind of put all of this together, Rochester, New York, so cool. We're like the first market to do something like this. So the Rochester Comedy Festival, proceeds of the tickets are going to go to that. So all the proceeds from all of the shows that are going to be at the club or at the Carlson, that's 5 rooms total. All of the ticket proceeds after we pay the artists are going to go right to the Alliance.
Wow.
We're not going to make a dime off of tickets, okay.
Okay.
For the club. The other venues, after they pay their artists, they get to keep 10% of the ticket sales, and then the rest goes to the Cancer Alliance.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and they're also going to
amazing.
have tables there and stuff like that. So it's not just like us trying to do like a money grab.
Right.
It's us actually trying to help a community as a whole, because Rochester's cool.
Yes.
Rochester's epic.
It really is. I love it here, and I'm not original from here, but I've been here for most of my life. So.
It's epic. From the suburbs to the city.
Yeah.
It's great. I know a lot of people hate it. I love it. I've been a Rochesterian my whole life. In fact, this morning makes me feel like I'm doing morning radio with you right now.
I know. I came in a few minutes late. I was like, I told Mark 8 o'clock, so I show up at like 7:50, and he's wandering around. He didn't know where to go, and I go, I spilled breakfast on myself, and I did, and I was so mad. And if I even told you what I was eating, it'll embarrass me, but I will tell you. It was cottage cheese almonds with honey.
Oh,
I know. I'm trying to drop a few. And I was rushing out the door. I go, I'm going to eat before I go. And then the next thing I know, plop. I'm walking. I go, fuck. Fuck.
He literally, you pull in and you're like, the first thing you yell out the window, I spilled breakfast on myself. I'm like, hey, Bill, nice to see you. But this is totally reminiscent of the old
it
days,
is.
man.
Right.
Getting up early, doing a pod. This is great. God. But yeah, so we're trying to keep it cool. Rochester's a festival city. Rochester does all these great things. This is the first annual one. We do have some massive headliners, and we got some very cool local stuff happening too.
Yeah.
So
I did see like Vinny was at a different venue when he's doing, what was it? Vinny's
Dirty Joke Book. Yeah.
And I think I love that idea. I'm so really, I hate to say it like that, but I was really glad for him, I guess, because that's a cool thing, and he should definitely do that.
He's definitely a strong team member. Vinny Paulino has stepped up to the plate. Like right now, we're actually building up to the festival right now with the Rochester's Funny Stand-Up Contest. Now, back in the day when we did the Funniest Person in Rochester contest, even at all the other clubs, it never really had the oomph it has right now, and it's because of the hard work that kid has been doing. So he's just such a strong team member. Yeah. And he does come up with great ideas. So this at Photo City, there's some offbeat, kind of off the cuff, all kind of things, like there's his joke book, and then there's this thing called Big D B&D Energy, which is a for people who watch like Game of Thrones or into Dungeons and Dragons. It's this cool show that's comedy about that. And then there's one that's kind of like Mystery Theater 3000, where they're actually going to watch a movie and then destroy other people.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's all cool, man. This festival is going to be really, really epic.
What are the dates again?
So it's July 16th through the 19th, and the 16th actually starts with Thursday the 16th is going to be, we have two events that night. We have the finals of the Rochester's Funniest Stand-Up Contest. So that will be the last show. That will be 114 people down to one that night. So that's going to be absolutely crazy. That's going to be at the main room. And then the whole thing's sponsored by Cannabis Corner. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those guys. Awesome guys on Clifford Avenue, Mike and Jamie, just phenomenal dudes. They came up with all the sponsoring for the prize money. They're going to do a puff and paint out on our brand new patio at the Carlson.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
wow, I like this.
It's legal now, so go for it, boys.
Right, yeah.
So we have this beautiful patio. There's going to be 40 people out there just kind of painting away and yabba dabba doing. Not my thing. I'll probably fall asleep if I tried.
Right.
But, yeah, it's cool, man. So, and then Friday night we have shows. We actually have... we have the Wheeze reunion show.
Is that Friday?
That's going to be
Okay,
Friday.
that's
and
Friday.
we have some very big people. I'm flying in for that.
Okay.
Special guests. There's some names that are coming that everybody kind of knows.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going on.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay.
Yep.
All right,
Bill's
as long
going
as
to
we're
be there. BJ Shea's coming.
Okay.
LVO will be there. And then I
Awesome.
have like two very big surprise guests that I'm flying in for this.
Okay.
So that's going to be epic. And BJ's hooked up a ton of like your old coworkers from 96 Days. Bro.
Okay.
So there's going to be a ton of people there. That thing is moving like crazy. That's going to probably
Really?
be one of the biggest shows that we've done.
Good. Awesome.
We have everybody from Pete Corielli.
Yes.
Thea Vidal's coming to do some shows. We even have a puppet show, this dirty Puerto Rican puppet that's funny.
Okay.
Oh, if you look him up online, it's hilarious. But he's got a huge following. That's going to be at ours work, because we got that guy who does all the funny stuff on the subways. I don't know. Marcus Monroe.
Yes, I've seen Marcus Monroe.
Great friend.
Yeah.
So Shresh was a huge fan of his. They kind of contacted each other, and he's been coming around. He's just an awesome kid. He's going to be huge.
Yeah.
So right now we got him kind of on the way up the stairs. But it's cool, man. Rochester is we want to make this big. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. Are you doing anything on stage?
Well, I might. Wheeze wants me to say a couple things during that thing, but I'm not. I mainly want to just make sure everything runs without a hitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to find volunteers. I got to find people for all these other venues to kind of help out. You know what I mean? I can't obviously be all these places at once, but I just want to make sure it all works out. And then the final big party will be Saturday night. Even though we have comedy shows on Sunday, we also next door at the Carlson, the brand new Carlson, Aggie Dune, who you just interviewed last week.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with Aggie Dune. Thank you for helping set that up.
She's awesome.
It was great because I think we're living in a weird time.
Yes.
Where everybody wants to scream about freedom, but nobody wants anybody else to really be free.
It's so dumb.
Do you know what I mean? And I thought to have somebody, because there are people who aren't very accepting of the pride thing.
Right.
Why not me? Like you'll see sometimes online, where's straight heterosexual month or whatever this is. And I thought Aggie explained in a very, very cool way and even said, I wish people would show their best selves when we have the pride parade and not the ass chaps and the thongs.
Right.
Save that for the after party, but let's show let's put our best foot forward. And I thought that was like different.
Agree. Yeah. She does a monthly showcase at the Carlson right now, the new Carlson event space next door. She does that monthly called Therapy.
Yeah.
And it's epic. She literally, I'm sure she's probably going to ask you to be on the show at some point, where she interviews locals, and then they all do like 5 minutes of, either a talk or comedy or something, whatever they do. But she's going to be doing a big therapy session then, and then the next night she's going to be doing drag over there. And then we're going to end up with a massive party at Radio Social with Dial Up, Rochester's awesome party 90s band.
Yeah.
Matthew, the epic Matthew Stevens, just a great guy. So they're going to be partying at Radio Social. So it's going to be this big event, man.
Yeah.
And everything's walkable. Everything's on a footpath.
Well, see, that's what's so cool about this, and it's a really cool part of the city.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're right there. I forget how close the comedy club is to Artisan Works.
Yeah, right across the street.
And Radio Social's right next door. And then you're not that far to
Photo City. It's a
and,
block away.
Right.
We were just talking about blocks.
Yeah.
People are afraid to walk these days. But the one cool thing about our joint, if you haven't been, we got 2,000 parking spots up front. It's an entire city block. It's the second largest parking lot in Rochester after Kodak. So you could literally park there and just go all the places. But we are actually considering having some like golf carts come in and shuttle people back and forth, especially weather. If what the weather's going to be like. So
let's say I want a ticket. Can you get a ticket for the entire?
So there are passes for multiple events.
Yeah.
And then if you purchase
Just
one
online?
of those, right online. Everything's at carlsoncomedy.com.
Okay.
So all the shows are individually up there. And then I'm not sure, it's a limited time only. I believe you get 2 main events and then 1 small event and a t-shirt for, I'm not sure what the price is, but that's also for sale on carlsoncomedy.com.
Did you, when I know you had been around the comedy clubs for a number of years, and like the old JJ days.
Oh, yeah.
Those were some really funny times. Did you ever think you would be doing this and running it so well? Like you really put comedy. I'll say it this way. I think you sort of saved comedy in this city because there were other factions trying to splinter it and do this, and you just stayed the course. And then whatever's happened here, you've taken all that knowledge and done a phenomenal job.
Well, the business model changed. I don't know if you remember when the Comics Cafe days were, when they didn't have major headliners, they did like the free ticket thing.
Yeah.
Let's comp
Paper
tickets.
the room was
and
terrible.
It was worse. The worst thing, because what it did was devalue it. I still have people today like acting like, oh, you used to give me free tickets all the time. It's like, no, I didn't. I didn't. That was Comics Cafe, and that was their business model. And here's the thing. I don't blame people for expecting that, because that's how it was. They would literally call and get 1,200 people free tickets in order to get 400 people to fill the room that night. But they would have the shittiest of headliners. It's like, here's Bam Bam. And this
oh, God.
And JG would have the guy work for like $800, and the guy would agree to paint the condo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and his comedy just would suck. And it was just like, no, that's not the thing. The thing is, provide great comedy and make it valuable again. And that's the thing is I'm just trying to put value back into it. It's one of the things I fight with daily because a lot of people put on these free shows. It's like, why are you giving yourself away for free when this is something that we should be all, if there's value here.
There is value here. And I think a lot of times people who do that art, right?
Yeah.
They would do it for free.
Right.
Right. Their self-esteem probably, there's all kinds of shit with these people. So to have somebody that's actually fighting for you, and I stumbled on and been following for a while. I don't know if do you know Barry Katz?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Me and him did a pilot together. I'll tell you about that in a little bit.
No shit.
Yeah.
So I always liked Barry. I used to try to get some guys on the radio through Barry. He was a manager for a lot of comedy guys.
Yes, he was.
He's now online. I don't know if he's a podcast or what, but I'm just seeing the clips of it. And it's giving great advice to people who want to be comics.
Right.
And it's like, this is like a handbook of what you need to do and the authentic voice of who you need to be. And I think a lot of times you don't know what to do, right? I think I saw I saw a clip of Bill Burr on there, and Bill's going, yeah, I worked construction, and I knew that was not for me. I go, it's real work. And then he's like, and I was doing sales or something, and I knew this wasn't me. He goes, you got it. You're going to get punched in the face. You're going to literally fall on the mat. He's like, but that's where I felt at home, and I just kept doing it and kept doing it.
Right.
And I think to be able to provide something like that for people with the knowledge that you have, to me, the comedy at the Carlson's more valuable now than I think it's ever been.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's really...
Yeah, Barry's, you're right. He has represented some of the biggest names in comedy, including Bill Burr. About 10 years, maybe 13 years ago when we had the comedy club at Daisy Dukes with Mike Colicchio, Barry contacted me and they wanted to do a reality show. It was probably longer than 13 years, to be quite honest with you, because Gianna, my oldest, was a little girl. But we shot a pilot for, like a kind of behind the scenes, like this is when Gas Monkey was popular, this and that. It was for True TV. Yeah. And it was great. But we had the Daisy Duke girls at that time. And it was right about the same time when Me Too movement kind of came into play. So True TV was so interested in picking this up. And then all of a sudden, the Me Too movement happened, and they dropped it so fast because we had some Daisy Duke girls that they interviewed next door, and they were just like, "Yeah, this is too sexy," blah blah blah. But whatever. And now True TV doesn't even exist. I don't think.
No, I don't think it does either. Yes. I think they got bought by somebody, TNT, or somebody swallowed them up. But yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool, though. What a cool experience that was.
It was epic, man. There was like 2 weeks of them actually staying in Rochester. They followed film crews around us all, and it was a great. Yeah, I'll show you the sizzle reel sometime. It was pretty cool. Wow. Then they made a pilot, and then like I said, it was going. Everyone was like, "This is gonna go." True TV was like, "This is gonna go," because like we used to have the bikers pulling the Daisy Dukes. Yes. So like there was like a scene where we actually had Tim Meadows, all right, and some guy heckled Tim Meadows, so we threw him out, and then the guy was getting all crazy, and then the bikers at Daisy Duke, and this wasn't even staged. The bikers from Daisy Duke was like, "What's the problem, Mark?" And then like, dude, it was like this big thing. And these guys captured this all on film. I'm not even, dude, it was insane. So True TV was like, "This is amazing." They were going to pick it up. And then all of a sudden, somebody got diddled and yabba dabba doo.
Yeah,
but
it's unreal. And I can say, I think there was a need to stand up and say some stuff for things. I mean,
absolutely.
Cosby shouldn't have been doing what he was doing for so long. Right. But then some of this stuff, I feel like it's gone too far.
Right.
To a certain degree.
100%. I mean, listen, I'm a firm believer in the man upstairs, and he puts us where we're supposed to be. And he didn't want it to happen. And right now, I agree. It probably would have been detrimental to my life. You know what I'm saying? So, and be quite honest with you, I inherited Daisy Dukes. It wasn't something that that was something I just wanted to build a comedy club.
Wait, you were managing that too?
It came with it. So, there was, let's just say, like, Mike was the landlord of the whole place, and there was a time where I guess the old owner of Daisy Dukes just didn't want to be part of it anymore. I'm just trying to say this as polite as possible. And then all of a sudden now I have a Daisy Dukes. So
wow,
yeah.
I didn't know you were doing both of
Oh
those.
yeah, so it was kind of like, but it was fun back
Yeah.
in those days. It was a great time. We all riding the bull. I got Sinbad riding the bull.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Kevin Meaney used to ride the bull
Yeah.
all the time. So that was actually a thing. Like the Impractical Jokers, I got all those guys, the Super Troopers. We used to go, that would be like the party spot after the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would get like, everyone would get a little loose over there, and hop on the bull. And
That's funny.
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, you've worked with some huge names over the years.
Buddy, it's been after Comics Cafe closed, and I decided to do Comedy Club at Daisy Dukes. It was like all or nothing.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a Funny Bone in Syracuse, and there wasn't a Helium in Buffalo. So Rochester was kind of like, you have 200 seats in this little pool hall. I was like, all right, I'm going for gold. And I was calling Drew Carey, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I'm on a flight out to Vegas with my wife for our honeymoon, and I'm literally skipping away to meet Andrew Dice Clay at some seedy place to, beg him to come play this place in Rochester.
Funny.
But it all worked out. I got all the big names to come out there.
He did come.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember him coming. I remember, what an interesting individual. I mean, that whole thing. Well, hey, look, the guy, that was just a piece of his act.
Right.
And then he exploded and became that character. But he really became that character.
He did.
He
is that guy. And we've had everybody, Marlon Wayans, Richard Lewis, Drew Carey, like I said before. They all came through to that small little place in Webster, but then it became too small. Then it became like, okay, we got all these massive, guys coming in here. And then Syracuse opened up a Funny Bone. Buffalo opened up a Helium, and both of them were around 300 seats, and that's what it really goes by. So people realize, I can make more money in Syracuse than I can in Webster with the extra 100 seats times 5 shows. That's 500 more seats times, let's say, $30 more a ticket. You do the math. It's a bigger check. So I was, I needed to find a bigger place, and Shresh and Shea were customers of mine every Friday night. And Shresh was always like, when are we going to do something? When are we going to do something? Dan Morgenstern opened up Radio Social. Right. He had Clover Lanes. Yeah. Sold Clover Lanes to Whole Foods. Still had all the lanes. Convinced the people at Landsman right now at the Carlson building, to get 70,000 square feet. And boom, it became a retail spot. And I've driven past that factory a million times in my life. I know. Never thought. Nope. So actually, Weeze and I went over, talked to Morgenstern, and then Shresh and I broke in the building, kind of figured it all out, went over to Salvatore's, drew the place on a cocktail napkin, and boom, here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, because it really has done unbelievable stuff. When you think of the comics that are coming through, now this festival, the extra event space, which is beautiful, which is also just open as a restaurant or as a bar?
So its identity is an event space, because since we've been open, a lot of people have been trying to rent the comedy club because the parking centrally located, it's beautiful in there, and it's just it's great to have some place like a event space for 200 people is difficult to find for a comfortable thing. We do a lot of events during the day, we fundraisers at the Carlson, meetings at the Carlson, we do all that stuff, but we needed to have its own dedicated spot. So like on Fridays and Saturdays, when people needed a big space and we're doing comedy, we could actually provide that. And there was a Irish dance studio next door, and when they closed, we immediately took that over and built this huge patio. It's absolutely stunning. And we literally spared no expense. I mean, they got to the point where I was like, oh no. And then we opened up and it was like, okay, he did it.
Yeah. Yeah. But is it only an event space, or can you, I thought there was times you could go in there and get
it. Well, on Friday and Saturday nights, if we're not rented out, we do open up as a bar. Yeah. So this Friday, we'll actually be open as a bar. Saturday, we're rented out. Tonight, we actually have an event in there too. So, but Friday, I believe we don't have an event in there, so we're going to open the doors. Sometimes we put a grill out there and we give away free hot dogs and hamburgers just to give people. Why not? Yeah. Who cares?
No, I love it. I think I love hearing and seeing these things thrive in the city, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the best part. And what you're doing with it is great. You've watched comics, though, get up there and absolutely murder. And you've watched other guys just go up and, they fucking eat shit.
Oh, my God.
From word one.
Yes.
That slow, painful death. Is there a sign within, like, the first 30 seconds? I sometimes feel like if I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I can tell pretty quickly how this will go. Some guys can pull it out, but not everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the old school, I want to say Joan Rivers, Phyllis Diller. I can't believe I'm using two female examples of this, but they were both very boisterous about it's you, it's not the audience. Like a lot of people, oh, that crowd's tough.
Yeah, right.
No, it's like you got to know how to wrangle them in.
Right.
And then that's another thing that like a lot of people, like some advice for, you need to have more than just your material. Yeah. Because if your material isn't working alone, you're going to need to get people to get in tune. You need to be so organic that you can wrestle them up. If somebody's talking to somebody, you're going to maybe do a crowd work and be like, oh, so you ordered the nachos or something like that. If they're ordering something from their waitress, you need to get people to focus on you, pay attention to you. And that's another reason why we don't have like anything on the walls at the club. We don't want to distract anybody. We want the focus right to be on that stage to kind of help it out. But if the comedian on stage or the headliner on stage or even the MC, because the way we think it is, the MC's the silverware, the feature act's kind of like the plate, and then the headliner is the steak on top of that. You want to make sure that everything kind of goes into a row of you know, boom, 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 setting it up. If you can't handle the audience, it's you. It's not the audience. I mean, there's not going to be an audience of two. I mean, there's going to be, there will be cases where there's 200 people in there that are all drunk as shit and just loud and crazy and yes, yeah. And at that point, obviously it is the crowd, but that's a security issue. That's not a show issue. Right. But if you're there, people are paying attention and they're not laughing, guess what? You need to switch gears. You need to say, okay, now it's time for me to put my material on the side, start doing some crowd work, get people to more focus in what's going on. Right. Because that organicness, when you're in tune with the audience, that's what really draws people in.
I agree. I'm thinking too, as you were saying earlier, they used to do what's called paper the room.
Yes.
Right? And try to put bodies in there. And so you shot for a big number, hoping to hit a smaller number of people that would actually show up. And the bad part with that is it's not people who are coming to see comedy. They're coming because it's free.
Right.
And they're not there for that. And when you have people that have paid and invested to be there, they're there to laugh.
Right.
They're there to escape. And you're the person that's going to take them on this ride. Whatever it is, wherever you're going, you're the conductor. That's your whole time. But the worst part is the free. I remember being in New York, walking through Soho, and it was a Tuesday night, and they're like, come in, free comedy, come in, free comedy. So my brother and my wife at the time and I walk in, and that's where I met Rich Ivanovich.
Oh, he's great.
He is great. And I really liked him, but he was up there, and I'm laughing, and I'm laughing out loud, and I'm the only one. I'm the only one. And he's like, hey, thank you for, because
you're excited to be there.
Well, I just was, I wanted to see who was there. There were guys who were writing for Chris Rock that were doing time. Like, we're walking outside and they're moping and going, this fucking crowd. And in that case, I kind of go, yeah, but what a great tool. If you can win the crowd that's not there to see you, then you can handle anybody.
That's what
that's the way I look at it.
And that's what the old greats said. You know, if you got to win the crowd, and that's the thing, you got to have a couple of tricks up your sleeve. And if you only have one trick and that's just memorizing your act, guess what? You're going to eat shit more than you're going to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to know the crowd. It's going to be different. One week you're going to be in front of, somebody of a certain genre. And then the next week you're going to be a mixed genre. So you're going to, you never know.
No.
And you're going to have to be able to switch on a dime.
And this is where, like, I often would say to somebody, sometimes you got to go back and think about the most engaging teacher you had, right? Because that's sort of what you have to be when you're up there. You got to command attention.
Yeah.
And really, the best comics, in my opinion, you leave thinking.
Right.
You leave thinking. Maybe it's thinking something absurd and stupid, but you usually leave thinking, and those are the best to me. And I think if you can do that and kind of almost see yourself. There was a comic who passed away years ago, Bill Hicks, who was one of my real. I really loved Bill Hicks. I came late to the party with that, and I have a book that had like basically every word he ever spoke on stage, somebody transcribed. And there were times where I would go, oh my God, he's like a history professor with a great, like, just a snarky attitude. I would have loved this guy. And I think sometimes you got to be kind of like that to win in this game.
Have you been to the Comedy Hall of Fame yet,
I have not.
Jamestown, excuse me.
I have not.
So I'm actually wearing their nice fleece right now. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the blue room in the basement. So there, you go through. First off, it's a cool place. You when you walk in, you go to a kiosk. They ask you a bunch of questions about like what TV shows you have. Blah, blah. They give you a bracelet, and then everything's interactive. And this bracelet kind of takes you on a tour with your kind of analytics that you put in this computer.
Okay.
So it won't have you go to like the Wiggles room or something.
Right.
You know, that just doesn't. You know, some kind of comedy that you just won't find funny.
Yeah.
It's going to take you through stuff that it kind of analyzed you, but. There's this thing called the Blue Room, and it's the basement at the.
So it got to be all.
You say Bill Hicks. There's a shrine.
Really,
dude? You got to go.
Oh,
bro, I'm telling you, you're gonna thank me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2 hours. I honestly, I love it, but it's literally you got to drive to Jamestown, which
I don't think I've ever been to Jamestown,
bro. It's
I don't
like
think I ever have.
You go through like country, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. You know, just south.
The only thing I knew about Jamestown was Lucille Ball.
That's why they put it there.
Right. And Natalie Merchant.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's
all I knew.
The Lucille Ball comedy festivals every year, and now the Comedy Hall of Fame does like the big events right there. But yeah, you like Erie and Buffalo are the major markets that to get there. So if but they have some major acts fly in there, but they got to fly to Buffalo or Erie and then take a car there. But you got to go.
Okay.
The Blue Room. Remember that?
Yeah.
The basement. Carlson.
Carlin's in there?
Oh, the 7 dirty words. I mean, everything. They had everything in that.
Wow.
basement.
They must have a lot of, what was his name who got arrested all the time early on?
Lenny
Bruce.
Yeah,
Lenny
absolutely.
Bruce.
There's a shrine.
Yeah.
You got to go.
Yeah.
The Blue Room is awesome.
I always appreciated comedy because I always thought, and I don't know why I always thought this way, and I guess most of my life, this will sound dumb, but I'll say it anyways, I was more attracted to the intelligence. I don't know why. I just liked smart, and I liked smart people. And to me, the best comics, you can't come up with a joke unless you're intelligent.
Of
you
course.
can't make that connection. And those were the guys that were written off sometimes in school because it didn't interest them.
Because
it just didn't interest them.
That, and also because the teachers didn't like a wordsmith that might have been a little bit smarter and wittier than them.
100%. 100%.
You got Miss Bell, who has a garden and likes to feed the deer in the backyard, and then you got somebody like me in there who's like telling a joke about what's going on in the world. It might intimidate somebody of that nature because they're the one who is in control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like when anything happens. Comedians are the first thing that government wants to kind of avoid because they are smart. They are witty.
Yeah.
They are wordsmiths. Yeah. Like the pandemic. When that shit happened, what was the first thing that happened? Comedy clubs shut down. What were the last things they were allowed to open? Comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Think about that. Bowling alleys were open.
Yeah.
So we tried to open. They shut us down. Movie theaters got open. Shresh and I went and got a movie theater license, and we were going to put movies in there. They shut us down.
Why?
Bro.
Do you think it's because they're afraid of people saying
the truth?
Yeah.
Cuomo was the biggest yabba dabba do, and then he ends up touching somebody, and then everybody hates the guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, now marijuana's legal, and Cuomo's the greatest guy in the world because he yabba dabba do an intern. But finally, strip clubs allowed to open.
Shut up.
So we were like, this has got to be it. They gave us a month.
Did they have to wear a mask in their vagina in case they sneeze?
Like, imagine that. Imagine being farted on by Diamond, but you can't go to a comedy club and listen to a fart joke. So then we are finally allowed to open a month after strip clubs. And this is no lie, bro. And then it was like our tables were scattered, but at least we got to do it.
Right.
And we did do something that was really cool. We were one of the first people to actually do outside shows. We built the stage outside. Shooby was the first guy.
Shooby-Doo.
Yabba-dabba-doo. But we were all looking at each other because we were all out in the parking lot. There's, probably 150 cars. Yeah. And it was a successful night. We looked at each other and we're like, this is probably the biggest event or gathering in the world right now, because it was right in the middle of people fucking disinfecting their groceries and wearing scuba diving suits just to go get gas. You know what I mean? Like everyone was scared shitless, and we had that outside show. We looked at each other like, this is fucking great. This is probably the largest event in the world right now.
Yeah.
Gathering. Legal. But it was, but my point is that they are wordsmiths. They are witty. They are smart. They do know. They are on top of topics. And they are to be be feared because they're going to say things that you're not going to want to hear or that doesn't go with your agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why comedians are silence.
I have so many things rattling around in my head. I think back to the pandemic, and I like to believe, at least in the very beginning, they were doing the best they could with the information they had. They were really trying to help people. But as I said to, I might have been my mother, who was, real big about you can't come to my house unless you're vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. And fine. And you certainly, at that time, I don't want to bring something that could potentially kill my mom.
Right.
But here's the thing. It was mostly affecting older people. Not everybody, but majority were older people. And I said to my mom the other day, I go, I have a son who's 25 and I have another one who's 24. I said, I go into the doctor and they go, hey, you're over a certain age. You should probably get this vaccination. I go, are they offering the same thing to my kids? No. Why? Because they're probably not going to get it. And why put something in your body that you don't necessarily need?
I mean,
right. So I go, then what happened with COVID?
Right.
What happened with COVID? Because we knew that it was starting to do this. And the problem is that people lost their livelihood.
Right.
That's the part. It's like, yes, people did die. You can't deny that. There are people who may still have lingering effects. I have no idea. But the other side of that is there are people who lost their livelihood, their dreams, their business, everything, their hustle.
Correct.
It just sucked the fucking world out of them.
You said it exactly. In the beginning, it was ran, and we all needed to pay attention and see how we can maintain it safely. But then it became this bullshit rigmarole where, okay, all of a sudden I'm trying to sell a book. And that how I got people through the pandemic. It's like remember the zones? Remember the orange zone, the red zone, and the yellow zone?
Yes, but I don't.
Okay, I would go to, so we're Fairport guys.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'd go to the Beer Project out by Eastview Mall.
Okay, yep.
Place is packed. Drinking. Yabba dabba do it. Shucking and jiving. Because it was in a green zone. But then the comedy club was in a red zone because of density and all that shit. Look that shit up. There was an orange zone, a yellow zone.
Yeah.
Down at the Empire Boulevard, there was a bar where it's like one bar is on one town and the other bar is in another town. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
So right across the street from each other, but that's where the town line is. One was in one zone, one was in the other. So one was open and the other was closed. That was the BS that I stood up. Obviously, look, I got vaccinated 3 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
got it.
I followed the rules.
Right.
And we were very safe. We had everything from hand sanitizer to masks. We provided everything. We had the zip temperature takers. People's when you walked in, it was a nightmare. 6 feet stickers all over the ground. This and that.
The amount of money you had to put into that,
buddy. Listen,
because that shit isn't free. I mean,
it was ran horribly. The second half of the pandemic was ran horribly, trying to get everyone back open to business. It was just dumb.
Here's the worst part of the pandemic. I never experienced it like maybe any other human at all, because I didn't have my kids with me. My older guys, one was in college, but my youngest was with his mom out of state. I was considered an essential employee on radio, so I had to go in every day, right? So I went in. I still worked. And then I would go out because I had friends who owned establishments, and we would go in, and we would say we were there to redo the floors.
There you go.
And drank, and I would be hammered. My life, I think I had more fun during the pandemic because
because you were a .35.
Yes, yeah. I mean it was fun, and I didn't have that same thing where I was home and I'm looking to do anything and blah blah. Right. I always say to guys who do home improvement and stuff, like we're in the Mac of all trades studios. I go, give it another 15 years, and some of these people start to downsize. They're empty nesters now. You're going to see every shitty COVID home improvement project that's some half-ass. He didn't fully understand the YouTube video, and that fucking wall was never right. And you're going to have to go in there and redo everything. You guys will never be out of work.
Yeah,
because and thanks to COVID, in a way.
You're absolutely right.
It's like fucked up the way all that shit goes on.
I mean, everybody was stuck home.
Yeah. And yet there I was out there just fucking swinging my dick in the breeze like there was nothing wrong. And I was like, wow, how much fun is this?
Well, I was big mouth. I was one of the ones who would be yabba dabba doing like, hey, why are we, so everybody from Fox, was interviewing me because we were closed and they didn't understand it. So people would call me and be like, why are you closed? I'm like, bro, New York State keeps shutting us down.
Right.
There was a point there where there was called incidental music. You remember that?
No.
So if you were a bar or a restaurant and you just happen to have incidental music, like an artist playing a guitar in the corner or a band just playing.
Like by accident?
Yes. People just showed up. Okay, I could go to like Joe's bar.
Everything became a speakeasy.
Oh, yes. But you could go there, and as long as they didn't advertise the band, I swear to God this is true, by the way. You can look it up. I'm a master at this, believe me. You could go in and enjoy a band in a bar, but they couldn't advertise that the band was there. It was called incidental music. We decided to be a bar and have incidental music. They shut us down.
Shut the fuck up.
No, bro. I had Dr. Dirty as our incidental music. Oh,
God, that's great.
But they shut us down.
Wow.
Yeah. They got a letter. Liquor authority said, bro, we're going to pull your license. Well, they didn't say bro.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to pull your license.
It'd be great if it did say, hey, bro.
Right. And we didn't advertise it.
Yeah.
Only people on their personal pages said, hey, come on in, and said some keywords. You know what I mean? Like his song. But yeah, we had incidental music. We got shut down. And that's why I was very boisterous about it. And that's why I was interviewed from everybody. And let me just say this. Fuck both sides, Democrats and Republicans. Yeah. I can't stand getting in far left. So if you think I'm far right or whatever, I'm not. But I was anti how COVID was handled at the end when they were shutting down businesses and they didn't let comedians speak.
I don't think most people on political issues are very black and white. I think there's a gray area, and I think now you have to choose your camp.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's why my camp is no camp at all.
Right, and I think that's really hurting us. I would think that now, I'm curious as to your answer to this. Are we seeing almost more people flocking to comedy just to laugh and escape?
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Because there was like 4 years ago where it was really everybody was walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Because feelings were coming out harder than facts and people were like getting offended more often. And you had to use, we are introducing things that weren't part of our thing. So like I was raised to say yes sir, yes ma'am and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden now it's offensive. You follow what I'm saying? So in comedy that actually, people were kind of saying, okay, this comedian needs to go, you got your whole cancer culture, this and that. But now it's like the people that were canceled are now huge. Shane Gillis is probably the biggest comedian there is right now in modern times. And he was canceled. Because he did an Asian joke, and Saturday Night Live fired him. And then people...
Well, he did it on... I thought he did it on Twitter a while back.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But everybody was going back and doing that. And it's the thing, it's like all these voices are now heard from basements or from keyboards that normally weren't heard. Right. It's like the Yelp generation. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are kind of, on both sides, are sick of that. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's not a straight line. Over here you got the right and over here you got the left. It's not like that. It's like a horseshoe. Yeah. And I think the people that are so hard right and the people that are so hard left, they're the same. They just hate different things. And they want other people to feel bullshit from their own agendas. And when most of us, it's like a horseshoe. We're on the top of the horseshoe. And we kind of like, oh, I agree with that issue, but I don't agree with this issue. Right. Or like that, but do. You know what I mean? Like I could bounce back and forth on a lot of things. But right now it's like a lot of people are hardline. Like a lot of people think I'm horrible. Like there's these kids in Webster that are very anti-pride. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now like they look at me like I'm a jerk because I love pride. Yeah. Well, Rochester's got 2 months of this motherfucker. Let's go. Yabba fucking dabba do. But they at this one fucking jerk off had like a whole online campaign against me because I get hate all the time because of that shit. And it's like, you jerks, like just live your life.
Yes.
Let other people live theirs.
I always think
who cares?
It's not going to really affect you.
Who cares?
I think my favorite like gay moment in my life was my sister's wedding. I believe my sister, who stood up for her on her side was a gay man. Like, it was one of her best friends from. She went through a doctoral program, and I don't know that the guy stood there. Yeah. So he's there, and there was a contingent of gay people, and I remember walking up to my uncle, and I said, "Hey, Aunt Barbara's out there and your kids." I go, "What are you doing over here? Go dance." "Yeah, I'm going on a dance floor with those guys out there." And I burst out laughing, Mark, and I looked at him and I go, "The mere fact that you think you're attractive enough for anybody to want to fuck you is outrageous."
Right. And not just that.
What?
Wait.
There's not even another woman in here that wants to sleep with you.
You know what's really gay is worrying about what other people think about you.
God.
I'm not going to get on that floor with all those gays. They're going to think I'm gay. That's gay. There's nothing more gay than that.
I think he was making more of a joke, like, I'm going to just keep my ass against the wall. I'm like, who's got? I say, but that is the thinking. And
idiots.
It's strange. And when Aggie was in here, because the town of Webster did take down the pride flag.
Yeah, the same jerk off I'm talking about.
They said, she said that she didn't care if you took it down as long as it was equal for everybody. So then there was a park for kids with disabilities, and they had a flag, and the town made them take it down, and people were outraged. And Aggie's like, rules are rules.
Who cares?
You know what I'm saying?
Who really cares?
Yeah, right.
If you're spending so much time hating somebody else, you really just either want to be that person.
Yeah.
You just need to look at yourself. Just live your life and let others live theirs.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
Just don't care.
Well, I do think we get too caught up. I always, I used to call it overcompensation. Like when you would see some guy who gets online and is so effusive about his wife's birthday or their anniversary, and it's like this fucking war and peace he wrote on Facebook. And I was going, what the fuck is he overcompensating for?
Or
right?
did he fuck up?
Yeah. There's somewhere along the line we know something must have happened because there's no way. But on the other hand, I often think like, is there overcompensation with some of this stuff too, right? That we get so angry. What are you avoiding in your own life of dealing with that you're going to take it out on something that really doesn't impact anything?
Correct.
Your day-to-day life doesn't change if there's a pride flag up or not.
It comes like this. The energy that you put out in the universe is going to come back to you.
Well, you're talking to a guy who's like gotten really weird over the years, and I'm a big believer in that.
Well, right now you're kicking butt, so
yeah. But I mean, I really do. I believe that. And another thing that was funny because I've had to do a lot of reading and stuff. I was telling you I'm back in grad school, and there was a book I'm reading, and there's a lot of talk of, and we even hear this now more in pop culture, right? Self-care. And then people go, oh, spa, soft, blah, blah, blah. I always think of I call them Instagram divorcees, the women like in their, mid 40s to early 50s, and everything is, they're doing self-care. It's red light therapy, and it's a spa day, and they're getting a facial.
Mask, with the lasers.
Mask, the laser. They got a trainer. They're all that. And I go, is that self-care? Because what this person said was, think about like a weekend you go away with some friends and how you come back and you feel recharged. And they go, find a way to break that down, distill it, and do that as your self-care, right? So now, and you know what mine was? Sitting around with fucking assholes like you and laughing my fucking dick off.
Amen.
Until making so much fun of whatever and anybody.
Hallelujah.
They were my greatest times.
Amen.
Honest to God.
Yes.
And I go, I need more of that.
Yes.
I need more of that. And I hope everybody goes to the comedy club because I think you provide a lot of that. But then
you explained it right there, bro.
It's
Amen.
It's the greatest. Like just sitting around though with like you and Tommy and these other. I mean, God, I used to I couldn't breathe.
Those were the best fucking days.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why we try to provide. You know, come to this space. You're going to see somebody that you've loved, and they're going to make you laugh. They're going to take you on a little journey outside of your life. Whether you're a mechanic working on cars or you're a lawyer defending somebody in court, you're going to escape, and you're going to sit there, and everybody in the audience is going to be equal, and you're going to listen to somebody who is witty, quick, boom, and take you on a journey.
I think people are gonna love it with the comedy festival. I know you have Pete. I feel Corielli. I always feel like I'm gonna screw up his last name. Pete's interesting to me because he does the podcast with Sebastian
Miller. Yeah, Pete and Sebastian. Yep.
Right, but Pete was
hilarious, by the way.
But Pete is really.
I am such a fan of that podcast. So funny,
and he is great on stage and such a genuine nice guy.
Oh, the greatest guy. You know one thing about him?
What?
He just moved right up the street.
I know.
Right up the street here.
I know that.
Literally 2 minutes from this.
Yeah, I know.
He's a great cat.
I know that, and I don't think most people will probably know that he's that close, but he'll be headlining, and it's an opportunity to see somebody who's, I mean, guy plays everywhere in every
the
venue.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in Vegas the night before.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Sebastian takes him everywhere. And,
Yeah.
I mean, the two, he is, so if you watch that show, I think he's funnier than Sebastian.
Yeah.
I swear, because he brings more. So Sebastian, I got to tell you, he makes me laugh. But now Sebastian's on a level of, like, he's got housekeepers and guys who wash his cars and so I can't relate to that.
Right.
But I can relate to Pete when he's outside talking about pruning his bushes and then cutting a cable wire. And then his wife comes out and goes, what the fuck happened to the internet? And he's just like, here comes a fight.
Yeah.
You know, like that I can relate to. Yeah. So to me, Pete's funny. I love him.
Yeah. And he's headlining.
Yes.
This is fucking
It's
phenomenal.
going to be great. And you know what? And like I said, we're not making a dime. The club isn't making one dime off of any ticket. We're going to give everything after all the extra pay and all the expenses. It's going to go right to the Cancer Alliance. The other clubs, like we said, go ahead, take a little taste, but then 10% of what you make is going to Cancer Alliance because this is all for them. Yeah. And this is one way of Rochester, like we said in the beginning of this podcast, they all came together. We all come together as a community. I love Rochester, New York. I know there's a lot of people out there that always talk shit about it. Rochester is one of the greatest fucking cities in the world. And you know, whenever you go someplace, you wish you were home.
How many people left and came back?
Dude, our restaurants are better.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely.
We're foodies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got freedom. We got so much. We got 4 bodies of water. We got the bay, the lake, the canal, the river. You know, there's so much to fucking do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People who talk shit about this city just haven't found a good, let's say, harmony where they're at. They just need to do that. This city is great.
It is great. And a lot of, like, when you think about the number of people that have come out of here, sports-wise, entertainment-wise, music-wise, there's all. I mean, it's really rich in its culture, and it's so cool to see some of those come back. I think the Wheeze thing is going to be
huge.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting,
even from a civil rights standpoint. It's
going
to be Anthony, Frederick Douglass, and here's one that people might not know, but me, you, and Rich Aronovich.
Oh, and the
topless 5, whatever that photo.
Yeah, the top free 7.
Yes,
with my mom.
Yes. So what Bill is talking about is, I don't know if you guys know, but in Monroe County and I think all of New York right now, women can go topless wherever a man can go topless. It's legal. So if there's a store out there that says, you know, shirts are optional, guess what, ladies? You can have that option as well. Yep. And it's all because of some ladies went up to Cobb's Hill and did this. And then on the reunion of that, a photographer invited a whole bunch of people up to Cobb's Hill, myself included, Rich Aronovich, Bill Moran, his wife, his mom,
right,
and about 50 others.
Yeah, and Tommy, and the whole morning show went.
And some really good-looking ladies. Hey, you could say that if a guy had his shirt off and he was good. There were some good-looking guys there too.
Yeah.
But there was a fire truck with its crane way above our heads, and a guy took a picture of us all laying on the ground. Yeah. And it was just such an epic day.
That was really, really cool.
And Rich Aronovich, the whole way there was going,
I forgot that.
Titties! He was like, we're going to go see titties! That was Rich Aronovich. I was like, no, but we're going for the civil rights, man. And he was like,
I forgot that Rich was part of that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, because I remember him coming up on the show a few times, and he had that. He used to do a joke about his hair.
Oh yeah,
and vagina or whatever.
Yes.
And I just remember that's what made me laugh in Soho.
He had a big afro.
He did,
and he would take the afro, and put it in the front, and then he would take the microphone and fuck the microphone with his hair. I don't know if you can see that online. That's exactly
God,
what.
That's so funny.
He's great, man. He still comes up.
Yeah.
And he's actually blowing up online now. He does these dancing things on TikTok. And
really?
Dude, he dresses like somebody out of the 60s or 70s, and he'll go into like the busiest places in New York City. All of a sudden, press play on some music and just start doing some crazy dance. People are like, who the fuck is this guy? But it's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you got to follow him.
That's great. I love seeing you. Go to comedycarlson.com.
Yes.
Get your tickets for any of the shows coming up.
CarlsonComedy.com. Any of the shows that we got coming up and any of the festival. We really got to push the festival. This week we have Joe Gatto from the Impractical Jokers.
Okay, yep.
Next month we have possibly, we got Damon Wayans Jr., who might be coming with Damon Wayans Sr. So
Really?
Stay tuned to that. We'll announce that hopefully by the end of the day today. We got David Cross coming.
Oh, I love
Big
David
Jay
Cross.
Okerson.
Jay's great.
My God, I got there's so many people coming that it's like there's too much to remember.
Wow.
But yeah, go to Dan Soder, DeStefano. We got everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
And then the comedy the Wii show is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on that. And I'm just interested to see how it all sort of unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a
never
nut-filled turd, but if it does, it's going to be hilarious for about 20 of us.
Fucking,
so, yeah.
It could be the funniest thing in the world, and I look forward to seeing him.
Well, whenever any of us get back together, like this moment right here, it's just electric, bro.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. And I have those were the times that were the best, and I need to come by and just sit in the comedy club, absorb all that.
Dude,
again.
you got a bar stool.
Yeah, I love that place. You've done such a great job, you and Shea. It's real.
Thank you,
it's
brother.
really, really impressive, and I think this comedy fest is going to be huge, and I hope it becomes even bigger and bigger over
Thanks,
the years.
man.
'Cause
Yeah, CarlsonComedy.com. And it goes towards a good cause.
a great cause. A great cause. All right, for Mark Ippolito,
Thank you.
comedy at the Carlson, for the Brother Wee Show on Friday the 17th.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm Bill Moran. We will see you next time. When it comes to home improvement, you've got choices. Let's say there's a hole in the bedroom wall, and somehow nobody in the house knows how it got there. You could fix it. I mean, there's always YouTube, right? But 3 hours later, it's going to look like a patch job. Not even a good patch job. And how about that leak under the kitchen sink? Yeah, you said you'd get to it, and that was what? 2.5, 3 months ago? If we're being honest, we all have that list. The one where deep down, you're not totally sure you've got the skills to pull it off. If it's my list, I'm calling Mac of all trades. Holes in the wall? Handled. Leaky sinks? Done. Full kitchen remodel? Yeah, they got that too. And hey, warmer weather's coming. How's that deck looking? Need it extended? Rebuilt? Outdoor patio? Don't be a deckhead. Call Mac of all trades. 585-202-9218. That's 585-202-9218. And you can see all they do online at macofalltrades.net. They'll handle it, so you don't have to.